Our eighth story for the day is a story that's really about me. It's about the state of Arkansas. It's about voting. It's all within stuff. And right now, there are plenty of motions afoot to, I'm going to say it like this way, suppress votes. They're being touted as ways to protect the votes, but essentially they're not trying to make it for more people to get more chances to get their vote in. They're looking for more ways to eliminate votes in places where they think might be issues, i.e., someone thinks they're losing, so they want to stop counting votes if they think they're ahead. Here in Arkansas, I may have been disenfranchised yesterday on our first day of early voting, but let's read the article as the robot editor edited it, and we'll go from there. The headline for the story is Votes Won't Be Counted for Arkansas Medical Marijuana Ballot Measure, court says. Arkansas Supreme Court has ruled that votes cast on the state's medical marijuana ballot measure will not be counted. The decision came after legal challenges questioning the validity of the proposal, ultimately leading to its removal from the ballot. This means that although some voters may have cast their votes for the measure, these votes will not be tallied in final election results. As that is said, early voting by absentee, people had their ballots, months ago. They could have put them in the mail a few days ago and got started. Early voting by showing up to the polls happened yesterday. I early voted fairly early in the morning, and then a few hours later, this article came out from our local paper, and then I got an issue of it. The one we posted was from AP, but then our local officials or local news started talking about this. Now, it's too late to change any ballots, obviously, so you're going to vote on it, or you're going to get a chance to vote on it, but the Supreme Court says they're not counting it. And this is one thing, going personal for a second, of all the, on one of the odder things about this presidential election is that here, at least in my county, there was a lack of people to vote for. We only had one state rep who was up for had a slot up for grabs. A couple judges, which I should have paid more attention to, but when I actually looked at it, about 5 amendments total. One's on casino gambling. We have 2 sales taxes that were local for my city. A couple other ones that were kind of important, and this one, which oddly enough was the longest one on there. It was confusing. It was all over the place. I should have read deeper into it before going to vote for it, because when I read it, the whole screen was taken up by this ballot, while the other ones were, tiny bits. The whole screen took up all the writing on this one, so it was a bit confusing. I voted in favor, I believe, of expanding medical marijuana rights across the state, because I voted for the amendment, which I think was for expanding, making it bigger. As I'm saying right now, doesn't really matter how I voted, because they're not going to count them. How they're going to deal with this initiative, they'll try to probably put it back on the ballot for the next upcoming election next year, because they'll have to get more signatures or whatnot to make it all happen. But at this point in time, we being Arkansans, aren't getting a chance to vote on the expansion of medical marijuana, because the Supreme Court says the ballot initiative ain't quite right. If you're in Arkansas, I'd love to get your comments on this one. If you're not, and you've seen all the stories you've done so far about people getting the rights to votes and losing rights to votes and losing rights to votes, comment on this one, because this is going to be something in literally 14 days, 2 weeks from now, when the counting for the big ones start. We'll be talking about who's getting their vote in going forward.